All right, folks. Hello, hello. All right, so sound check 1 2. Sound check 1 2. Can you hear me? Sound check. Sound check. Somebody type OK or something. Let me know if I'm live or what. Perfect. Hey Peter, how you doing, buddy? All right, great. Okay, so let's do this. And I want to get to CTB's question about the fibs and everything. So go ahead and do that real quick. And let's just, I got a bunch of charts in here. Everybody's had chart requests, blah blah. Let's just pick something. Something maybe I haven't. Somebody give me something I haven't done before. Oh hell, I'll do this here. Let's go to. How about Neo? We haven't looked at Neo in a while. Okay, so I don't have any fibs really to speak of. Some. Look at Neo, right? So I drew this, and let me switch this over to a daily. There we go. And let's see where I drew this thing from. Oh wow, that was way back here. Okay, so let's just start over, right? So let's look at this, and most everybody wants to go like quick, right? Everybody wants their money quick. Not a lot of hodlers out there, but let's look at it. All right, so if I'm looking at this chart, and forget about this mess down here, okay? But it did bounce nicely off the 1272. But let's just say, where are we going from here, right? And so this is what I would do, okay? I've got my EMAs in there, which I'm watching, right? I'm paying attention. I got the Bollinger Bands in there. I'm paying attention. But let's just say, what if this right here was a top? And we know that was a bottom. So go over and get your tool and just draw it from here to that top, right? And then click on your settings and then get that out of the way and throw in the fibs. Okay? So there's a start, right? So you got the 23.6 retracement, which I think is weak, right? I don't... Something has to be majorly bullish to hold that. Like super bullish, like if it's going to go parabolic. But it could hold that, right? But more importantly is this 38.2, right, down here. So we're looking at that, and so we've drawn from here to here, okay? Now let's do this. What if we draw from here to here? Now what do we got? That's interesting how things line up on each other, right? So you would say to yourself, and I'm going to scroll in, and this is how I come up with these numbers and these retracements and supports and resistance. But look at this. You had two EMA or two fib retracements that lined up on each other, right? You had the 38.2 and the 23.6. So this area right here, and it's okay if it wicks below it just a little bit, right? It doesn't have to hit it just dead on. But it's holding, look at this, a cluster of moving averages and a fib cluster. This is an important area right now for Neo, okay? That's a very important area. If it breaks that, then I would be one to guess that it's going to go down and test the 38.2. Okay, so that's how I come up with that. You just have to draw. You can draw it from any area. You can draw it from here to here, and from here to here. Now, if you're wanting to go the other way, then you can go up here to here, and let's see if it stops somewhere. It did. It stopped at the 61.8. So does that make sense? Right? You draw it from here to here to get your upside retracements, but then you can draw multiples from here to there and from here to here to see where an important support zone might be. Okay? So that's what I've got right there. I mean, and that's basically how you do it, guys. It's not rocket science. I don't get into the the Elliott waves too much. Although, if some people could probably visualize it in their mind and try to, but there's just too much that with Elliott waves. I mean, and I'm not ripping anybody for doing Elliott waves. I'm not. I mean, they're great and they've worked for a lot of people, but it takes a lot of studying and it takes a lot of time and a lot of updating on your charts to do all that. So determine what type of trader are you. Are you a short-term trader, long-term trader? If you're a short-term trader and you're trying to trade Elliott waves, good luck. You'll be spending more time doing charts and trying to update your Elliott waves and possibly miss a move than you would if you're just doing this right here. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I've been doing this a long time, and again, I think Elliott waves are better for longer term, right? Instead of short term. So keep that in mind. Because you'll see a lot of Elliott wave people that'll change their mind, right? You'll see them go, okay, I think we're going to 11,000. But then the next day, oh, wait a second, this changed, and now it could be this. And now it could go down to 8,000. So that's my problem with Elliott waves. There's too many X's and Y's and, this could be that and whatnot. No, I'm sorry. Let's just move on and get to something that, that really counts, like moving averages, Bollinger Bands, and Fibonacci. Again, not trying to rip anybody. I respect all those guys that do Elliott waves, but it's just too much work. And trying to put that on somebody that's new to trading, that's asking way too much. I've been there and I've done it. Okay, any questions? Or does anybody want to look at, obviously, Bitcoin? Let's go check on Bitcoin and see what's going on here. So, looking at a 4-hour chart, let's scroll out a little bit. We're just kind of stuck in this channel, right? Obviously, things could go a little higher. They could go a little lower. My squeeze indicator did go short. So we'll see if maybe, and of course it's not going to open again until Sunday night. So, don't expect any futures charts until then. But, things could flop around in here for a little bit. And then who knows, by Sunday we could be way down here. So trade with caution, okay? Be careful. I think people are just going to get chopped to death. But right now we're hitting close to the 200 EMA on the 400 or the 4-hour 400, the 4-hour chart. I meant to say 10,000, 400, but 10,003 to 10,005. That's probably your area to watch right there. And then you got some area right up here at 10,760. If it gets there, but we'll see. We shall see. Let's go over to a daily chart just real quick on the Coinbase. And you can see here again the big channel that we're in. I mean, and some people might want to call this a, if we scroll way out, what's that look like? Had this big move, right? That could be a flagpole, and this thing could be just doing a bull flag, like a huge one. But one would think you would try to hold, you know, and it's kind of funny to think about, but the gap area. Okay, blue collar hunter. How do you set the squeeze indicator? Are you on Thinkorswim trading? TD Ameritrade? That's where my squeeze indicator comes from. That you will not find it on TradingView or any other charting system. Yeah, you won't find the squeeze indicator on TradingView. But what you can do, and it's been a while, but TD Ameritrade, I think you can sign up. I'm not sure how much money you have to put in there. It may just be as little as $100, you know. But you could sign up with TD Ameritrade and you get free access to the Thinkorswim charts. You may even get the Thinkorswim charts for free. But you'll have to get the live feed and all that stuff. But if you got an account with them, you'll have access to it. But isn't that fascinating, guys? Look at this. I mean, bull run, bull run, bull run, and then bull flag. I mean, we'll see. You know, obviously, the way things are looking, I mean, and I'm one of those that in my mind, I try to look at things in the future, you know, and try to play it out in my mind as to what I expect. And, you know, I'm looking at this, and here's the other thing. Look at this stochastic RSI indicator. I drew that, and you can draw trend lines on anything, guys. You can draw them on indicators as well, right? People do it on volume. But I think this is fascinating. It hit, bounced, came down, turned right at the trend line, right? Is that not interesting? But the way I see it, there's two things. I mean, two things could possibly happen, right? So we either just go sideways in a, choppy fest, which is what's happening right now. Just chewing people alive. I mean, everybody thinks green candle, we're going higher. We're going to break out. Well, okay, that happened back here and it went up and wicked and then it came back and sold off. So I think Bitcoin is like trying to find a base right in this area somewhere. And it's going to be important that it holds this area. Okay? You don't want to see it below the 200 EMA, or not 200 EMA, but 200 simple moving average, in my opinion. Because right here we got above it and bull run starts, right? Now we got the EMAs, the shorter ones, pushing it down, right? And until we get back above those, then price goes nowhere, okay? So everybody's expecting this big spike to come out of nowhere, and it may happen, but I'm just looking at the averages, right? And the averages tell me that we're just going to chop around in here and possibly drift lower. What are the numbers to the right of the RSI under the price of the chart? Down here? Right here where I got it circled? Over here. I'm not sure what... next to the pink bar. Let me see. To the left of this and the pink bar. What is the pink bar? You talking about this one right here? That trend line? That's not pink. Are you talking up in here with the volume? I'm not sure. Ah, it's my kitty cat. Hush, hush. All the way to the right of the stochastic RSI. Oh, you're talking about this pink zone? This right in here? Oh, you're talking about over here. The 80, the 40, and the 0. Is that what you're talking about? Ah, okay. So that's basically just a measurement of the stochastic RSI, right? So when things are down here, it just means that, it's in an oversold condition, right? Based on price action. When things are in the middle, or they get to, I'll tell you this, if it's above 50, it's bullish. Okay? Above 50 is bullish. Look what happened back here. All right? Above 50, bullish, and then you get your move. Right? So we're not even there yet. We're not even there. If you start getting, look what happens to price when you start getting up in here. Oh, you're welcome, Peter. But anyway, blue collar, it's like we're stuck in a zone, right? And things could, obviously stay oversold or overbought for periods of time, okay? It happened in the bear market. Look at this, right? Let's go back here. All right. So you can get a bounce. It looks like it bounces, but look at that. Price didn't go nowhere, right? Based off these indicators. It showed somebody was interested, but stochastic. In the thousands. No, this is a combined indicator. This is stochastic and RSI. Not just RSI. This is combined indicator. So what I like to look at with these is like divergences, right? So if, what I would really love to see, to be honest with you, we've got this higher indicator holding up. What I would really love to see is I would love to see a big dump right here with this indicator staying exactly where it's at. Okay? Get a big dump down with a higher indicator, that just means that that's a bullish divergence, right? And it goes vice versa too. So if price is going up and your indicator is staying down, or it makes a lower high on the indicator with price going up, that's a sign to get out, or at least be cautious, right? Just a sign to be cautious. Real quick, I wanted to point out one thing while I've got at least a couple of you here. Here is the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? And I just find it fascinating. And this is probably why the alts have been backing off a little bit. Of course, Bitcoin got that little bit of a bump. But let's keep an eye on this right here, okay? This could go two different ways, right? Look at the Bollinger Bands getting very, very tight, okay? And when I see tight like this, that just, like back in here, that tells me that something is getting ready to happen. Okay, it's a heads up. Now, back in here, it could just chop around and do this. Very possible, but it's always one of those be on the alert, right? So we had the major resistance line up here that it couldn't get past and gave alts the chance to kind of catch up a little bit. But if it holds this, let's call it the 50% retracement and the lower Bollinger Band right there, and it's trying to do it off the 23.6, which again, I think is weak. But if it holds this area and gets a springboard off that lower Bollinger Band, this thing could go a lot higher, and then alts are crushed. Okay? Or at least most of them. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. And then not only that, but that's a very corrective move, right? That's not dumping, right? Look at this kind of sideways movement here. That's not a dump. That is just corrective. And we're still hanging around the 10 and the 20. And it could push off that to go to higher highs. Now, if it fails, then obviously it's going to come back and test the 50 EMA. And that'll give alts even more room to go higher. So we're sitting in some pretty precarious times right now. You know, and you got Bitcoin going back to it on the daily chart. Just kind of basing around the 50, the 10, and the 20. I mean, at some point, these moving averages are going to give. And they're all, I mean, it's either going to turn this way or it's going to turn that way. Right? So the question is, do we turn and go down to the 200? Or do we just blast off from here and go up to this upper part of the channel, which is around 12,000? Yeah, LTC, I did, you know, and here's what's funny. I posted about this a while back on Litecoin, and I think I did it in the YouTube video a while back. But you see these two candles right here? Some people want to call it a tweezer bottom, okay? And I'm trying to go back and think of what chart it was that did the opposite, like from the top. Well, hell, we could even go back here on Litecoin itself. Go back and look at this. See this little two candle pattern right here? Big green stick, big red stick. But the wicks matched, right? And then look what happens after. It drops and goes higher or lower. So, does the reverse happen here? You know, it did a nice job, and I think that's pretty darn bullish, excuse me, of holding the 200-day moving average in blue right here. This could still take a few days. It could go into August, right? Before Litecoin actually tries to make a move back up. But right now, this is your area to watch. This 86 to 87 area. I think you're good as long as that holds. All right? And even if it didn't, then you could go back and look at this lower Bollinger Band and look where you can see where support is right here with those two wicks. Well, it's kind of ironic how the lower Bollinger Band is hooking up right at that support. Okay? So if this pulls back, then that lower Bollinger Band is going to be support. The 78.6 is support, and we already know that right in here is support. So the rest of this is just kind of choppiness, right? Up here is going to be your big resistance at 111. I mean, it could get to if it was to spike today, I mean, it could get up to 117. I mean, if some news came out, 117 area, 119, but I wouldn't expect it. That's not my thinking. I just think it's kind of chopping around in here, and then maybe it goes to here. Possible. But, you got your stochastic RSI, which is, getting into that white area, which is above 80. And when something gets above 80, and we can always go back here and look at this. See, it gets above 80 right here. You still get it, right in here. You still get a little choppy, and then you get a move. Right? But then it drops back after that. You get close to 80 right here. Boom, drops back. Get to 80 right here. Sideways, a little bit higher, and there's your bearish divergence. Right there. So there's just things to watch, you got to watch bearish divergences, bullish divergences. Excuse me. But right now, Elliott wave guys, they may go 1, 2, 3, 4, or they could go, this is not 4, and this is A, B, C for 4. And see, that's what I'm talking about. It could be a lot of ifs for Elliott waivers. But me, I'm just looking at, can it break above the 61.8? Hold the 10 EMA, and it's trying to break back above it, get past the 20, and then bust a move. Let's go look at a 4-hour chart. See the Bollinger Bands? It's a nice move, but the upper Bollinger Band caught it and close to the 61.8, but it's not there yet. So it's very possible, Litecoin tonight, and it couldn't break this high over here. If it breaks 97, possibly, but right up here, short-term resistance at 200, but still you got 111 right up here, Fib cluster. Okay, questions? What will Litecoin do if BTC drops? Litecoin's going to follow. I think BTC just drags everything with it. I could be wrong. Does Litecoin have the halvening or whatever that is they're doing? They're having the, price or number of coins or whatever. Is that in August? I think that's what I heard. Is it August 15th or 13th or somewhere in the middle of August? Or am I wrong? Oh, it's 9 days away. Okay, so it's early August. Excuse me. Okay, so this could just be people buying into what they, obviously they think once it happens, then it's going to blast through the roof, Which it could. I have no clue. I'm just going off what I see here. It was a nice bottom right there. We pointed it out on the daily chart. We've seen what happens with that type of pattern, where it drops and then you get the reverse. So could it make a big move up? Sure. I mean, I wouldn't be going all in, but it's probably not a bad spot to, maybe think about putting just a small amount. If you don't have any, just a small amount in, just in case. That way you've got some, right? And then if it was to pull back, you've got big time support down here to average back in. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Any questions? Yeah, you're welcome, Blue Collar. We'll see you soon, buddy. Does anybody else have any questions or want me to go over any charts? I've got some time. Look at the what? What is that? Oh, BTC. Okay. DGB. Okay, Michael. Give me a minute and let me do Bitcoin real quick. All right. So actually, let me do this. All right, real quick, because you guys see me post about it all the time. But I'm gonna throw on my futures chart. Okay. Let's see if it pulls over here. Okay. So here's the futures chart, right? And here's where I'm really, and there's a lot of times where I can get confused, but it's like I pointed out the other night. When I see like these red histograms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, and price does this, and I don't get a signal, right? So what I'm looking for is green dots, right? If I've got a green dot, that gives me a signal that the trend is clear, right? That the trend is good. So I get this histogram, the selling histogram, like we're dropping and we're going down, but I don't have a clear signal that this is real. Okay? It's like, okay, wait a second. And then I get a yellow histogram, which tells me, okay, maybe things are starting to turn, but I still don't have a green dot. That just tells me stay away. Don't do anything. And then today, which of course happens on a Friday, is that I get this green dot on a red histogram. All right. That to me tells me that, a short is in the cards, right? So to me, the only thing that's going to change this is that if Bitcoin's, and let's just say it gets above 10,400 by Sunday night, and that's where it opens up at, then this histogram will probably turn yellow again, and the dot will go to red. But what if by Sunday we're down here, right? We drop below the 50 EMA. Then it tells me we're going a lot lower. So that's kind of what I'm watching, and I'm not taking any positions at all, zero. And not only that, but I don't short anyway. But I just find this fascinating is that we're stuck in between the 10 and the 20. We can't get above that, but then we can't get below the 50. So we're stuck in this trading zone, and everybody's trying to predict price here, price there, yeah. Well, sorry, you're going to get chopped to death if you're taking positions right in here. Okay? Sometimes the best trade is no trade. Okay? Everybody wants to try to get in anticipation that it's going to go one way or the other. Well, okay, there's going to be some people that get lucky and they do that, but they're guessing, right? They're guessing. My feeling is that I'm just going to stay on the sidelines and let this play out. And if it was to drop all the way down to the gap fill area, then I'll buy down here. Or look into buying down here. And if it decides to break and it gets above the 10 and the 20, then I'll play that break. Right? So I'm not buying it in this chop zone. There's no way. I'm not doing it. So anyway, that's what I got on the futures chart. Hopefully that helps. And let's go to DGB, one of my favorites. And it's just, look at this. I looked at it earlier, and wow. Look at these Bollinger Bands. Can you get any tighter than that? Right? Look at this. These Bollinger Bands, and this is, DGB has just been stuck in like a 5 to 10 sat area for about the past 2 weeks, it seems like. Something is getting ready to happen, right? You would think. I have no idea which way it's going to go. I drew this trend line on the stochastic RSI, and it's done a nice job of holding it, right? But it's just losing a little bit of strength. It's possible DGB could come down and retest the low, sub 100, and then maybe make a move up. But bottom line, this area right here is what you got to get past, 130. I'll just call it 130. That was an old support zone, right? See how big it bounced off that? See that? Hit that area and bounced huge off of it. Then it dropped, got close to it, tried to bounce again, and then breaks below. Now what's happening? Can't get past it. Can't get past it. And then we're making lower highs, right? So that just tells me, hold on, don't add anymore, don't buy anymore. Let's see if it gets down here and wants to make a double bottom, maybe around 96. Or buy it on the breakout above 130. You don't have to buy it just to buy it, right? So a lot of people that were looking back in here and going, well, this is bottom. That's bottom. No, it's sold out. That's bottom. No, look at what price is doing. It's just sideways. And you're stuck. So somebody that went all in on DGB right here, if you're patient, that's fine. But you're tying up all your capital when you could be playing other stuff. Right? And that's why I always try to preach that you get these moves, right? And if you can, if you got a support area and you're pretty confident that it's going to bounce, then play the bounce, but don't sell all your positions, sell 3/4 of it, right? And then keep a little. And then rinse and repeat. And then that way you got free shares to ride, and then you're not worried about this mess. But I think it's one to watch in the next. I don't know. Let's give it a week, maybe. Maybe not even a week. Let's give it a few days on DGB, and I think probably something is going to happen with it. I'm not going to try to predict whether it's going to go here or if it's going to go here, but I would be prepared for either way. Okay, so if DGB all of a sudden tomorrow you're looking at it and it's at 117, don't sit there and go, oh, I gotta buy. Just remember that right above you at 125, right? And then look at your 50 EMA coming down. That is major resistance. Okay, so if you're trading DGB, watch that area right there. Okay? It's 109 right now. I know it could be like really easy if it gets up to like 118, 117. You're going, oh my gosh, here it goes. Well, it may, but just keep that in the back of your mind. And that's why you got to look at these charts, right? You can't just look at your app on your phone and go, oh my God, it's up 10% or 20% and I'm missing out. No. Don't do the FOMO thing. Just watch where resistance is. Okay? That's what I got on DGB. And I think DGB long term is going to be good. I still believe that. But it's taking a while. Any other questions or charts? Let me look at Ethereum. I've posted this one in the channel. And here's another one. I mean, it's almost kind of like DGB in a way. You had support back here. Right? Big time support. Broke out. And then broke down below it. Now, that support is turning into resistance. Okay? And not only that, but you got the 38.2 retracement over here at $240. So, what people would want to see is it go up past the 38.2, and then you get a nice little run. But if it fails here, then guess what? Let's scroll out. You got this nice trend line right here. And it come back and test it. And just ironically enough, the lower Bollinger Band is right there at the trend line. Okay? Ironically enough. It's amazing how that works, right? So maybe get this lower Bollinger Band hooking up. This one's coming down, and then you get the Bollinger Bands getting really tight right here, okay? Somewhere in this area, probably, oh, I don't know, later this month, early August. And then we'll see what happens. I think I looked at BCH. You know, BCH, I saw, yeah, I thought I saw where it was up a pretty good percent today, but probably right there off that move right there. That's why. Okay. So, same thing. It's just kind of coming back and wants to test maybe the 200, 200-day moving average. 330 maybe. We'll see. RVN, which, disclaimer, I do own. I think I posted about that. I know I did. And this just looks to me like, and if the Bitcoin dominance chart plays out the way I think it might, and the way I think altcoins might pull back a little bit before they take off, then this one is one to watch. Okay? Because look at this beautiful possible inverted head and shoulders, right? Shoulder right here. Head down here. It could drop down to 420, 400. Well, let's not even call it 405. Yeah, somewhere down in here to form the right shoulder. But if it does, it would happen symmetry-wise. I would think it's going to happen within the next, let's call it 4 days, 4 to 5 days. Hits down in here and then holds support, possibly even at the 61.8. But I might be adding, at the 50, just in case. But I still got some. I'm holding it. Neckline is right here, so if it breaks above that neckline, then the measured move I had, obviously you take it from the shoulder to here and then add on to that. So the measured move would put it over 700. Possibly, around 700. Measured move. All right. Any question, guys? Any other chart? I mean, does anybody want me to go over Fibonacci or moving averages or anything like that? I want to try to teach you guys, and I'm trying to show you, I mean, look at this. Some people would look at this and get confused as hell. All right? They're looking at my chart, and they're going, what are all those lines? What is all that? All right? That's Fibonacci retracements. That's all it is. All right? And once you get used to it, it'll help, right? Because even though it looks messy, you can sit there and still see where your support and resistance is. Okay? All right. Any questions? Somebody has to have a question. Come on. Any questions at all? Chart request, something? So when I say it fired short, let's go look at it. Okay. So if you're looking, and I'll scroll in just a little bit so you can see it better, but notice the red histograms, okay? You got a red histogram here. The dot is red, no signal. Red, 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 yellow, red. Yellow meaning that the momentum was starting to lose some strength. Then we get today with a red histogram and the green dot, right? Green dot meaning that the trend is good, okay? So it's telling me that this trend right here, right, is good. The downtrend is good on this. So I'm hesitant to buy Bitcoin until I see it get above the 10 and the 20 EMA and possibly even break above here, which is 10,800. Right? The only thing that gives me caution, right, when I see something like that, because this squeeze indicator can change, right? Normally, it doesn't do it in flip-flop like that all the time, right? It just every now and then. But what's giving me caution on this is I'm looking at the slow stochastic, and I'm seeing how low it is, right? Okay? It's down in here. I mean, it could still drop down in here, or it could stay right here until it makes this drop. But right now, I am going to hold off on doing anything. Okay? I'm sitting on the sidelines. I mean, I've still got a core Bitcoin position, but I will not be adding anything until I get a clear direction. And right now, this is not telling me I have a clear direction, right? I mean, I could go back over here and look at this, okay, candle-wise, and say, okay, we had a big red stick here, we had a doji inside candle, and then a big reversal right here. And I could say that, you know what, this looks corrective, right? It was a nice reversal, and then all of a sudden people were like, it's a trap, getting out, slow, choppy down, and corrective. And if I didn't know any better, I would probably buy Bitcoin and just go, you know what, I think that's corrective, and I think it's going to blast off higher. But until it can prove it to me, and I want to see it get above the 10 and the 20, because when I start seeing the 10 get rejected, that pushes me off stuff. Okay? I just don't like it. When I see it reject here, reject there, can't get above there, can't get above here. That just tells me to back away and wait until it breaks above that. Because if it breaks above it, then it's going to go higher. Right, guys? Okay? It's going to go higher. And not only that, but there's a gap to fill up here. Not saying it's going to fill immediately, right? but there's still a tiny gap up here. It tried to fill it right here, and it got close. It didn't fill it completely. Some people might count it as a fill, but, you know, we'll see. That's just being technical. But 11,195 is still possible, and maybe it does make this move up here, but it's got to prove it to me. Okay? Now, if I see Sunday night that we've got another like red stick, okay, red histogram, then I think we're probably, by that point, we're probably hitting the gap down here. Okay. I'm real leery right now. I want to go long. In my mind, I want to go long, but time and time again, this squeeze indicator has like told me trust it. Okay, it's not a 100% correct. Don't sit there and think this thing is like 100%, golden, right? But it's close. But it just gives me pause until I start to see. Now, what I would have loved to have seen is this. Is if that yellow histogram had come up here and been another yellow histogram, that would have told me that the trend is losing strength, right? It's kind of like back in here. It works in opposite. You get this move here, and I'll move in. But you get the squeeze indicator, and it's firing off. It's going to the long side. You get a move. It's still long. You get some blue bars, which makes it go sideways. And then you get, and it never did go red dot, right? So indecision. It never gave you the indecision. It went like trend is good, stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. And then all of a sudden when you get a red dot, that's when I would be like, and even though that was probably the bottom, I would have been like, you know what? I'm going to be cautious here, and I'm going to just back off a little bit. But once you get another green bar and another light blue histogram, then you can take your long. Who cares if I missed initial, whatever. Look what happened after. Right? And then back in here, losing momentum. And then it went red again. Okay, I missed the bottom. Who cares? I'm not picking bottoms. I get a green dot with the light blue histogram, and I'm long again. And then boom, it goes higher. Okay? So when everything gets flat right in here, that's when you just back off, right? But right now, I'm seeing this green dot with the histogram, and it kind of reminds me of back in here, this thing could go lower. Not saying that it will, but it just gives me pause. All right. So anyway, that's that. And now let's watch the squeeze indicator be wrong and Bitcoin be at 11,000 by Sunday, which I would love. Yeah, good for you, Schnook. Yep. Good for you. I mean, and that's what makes a successful trader, right? Is that, you don't have to be in anything all the time. Right? Now, if you go with the trading plan that I've got, then you've got positions, but they're free positions. And you don't care what the hell happens. You've taken profit, you've made money, and then you're just sitting there just kind of waiting until you either want to add or you want to sell. Was there anything else that moved today that anybody saw or want me to look at? You know, here's something else. I'm gonna point out. Oh, wait a second. That's what I wanted to look at. I posted the chart of it last night. BAT, and I have not taken a position in this one yet. But boy, it sure looked intriguing. Oh my gosh. Oh God, that's gonna make me mad. Wow. Okay. And then there. Oh yeah. See, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so mad. I think I posted the chart last night of, you know, down in here if it got past the. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so mad. Oh well. I posted that chart last night for a reason and didn't take advantage. Anyway, no reason to panic of missing the trade, because what happens in this situation almost all the time. And I preach this. It's overbought, right? We know that. We got resistance up here, and this is going to be a good chart to do the Fibonacci on, okay? Here we go. The Bitcoin, or BTC chart. So, let's do this. Drawing it from that high to this low. Okay, and then let's go in here and take out what it's broken. Move that out of the way. Broke the 23.6, 38.2, and oh, it hadn't broke the 50 yet. Okay. So it hasn't broken that. Let's go back and look at, yeah, here we go. Let's do this. And this is why I love Fibonacci. You can just draw multiple fibs anywhere. All right. So let's do that, and then let's throw on 38.2 and 23.6. So it's broken, and we'll say it's broken the 23.6. So on that one. But I love when something does this. It makes a bottom, comes down, and then stops everybody out, makes another bottom at key support, right? And I will say this, disclaimer, and I've said this before, I don't like triple bottoms. I just don't believe them. But that was a nice bounce off that support zone. Okay? The 200-day moving average is still hooking down. 50 is right up here. I would say that, yeah, there's still some resistance right in this area. But, man, BAT looks pretty decent. It really does. I have no position, but it's tempting to take one, but I would wait and see what happens when it comes back and retest the 10 and 20 EMA. That would be ideal. And I'm telling you right now, if it holds, okay, look at this. Okay, and I'm scrolling in. But if it can hold the 10 and the 20, and if you can get the 10 and the 20 to cross, that's going to be key, guys. Watch this. Okay? Because it tried to do it back in here, and it got rejected hard. But if you can get that 10 and the 20 to cross, and it holds, then you can go long, right? You're going to have some resistance right here, and it's going to be a slow go, but this thing could bust a move, right? But I would wait and see what happens back in here. So it's 26.34. It could possibly pull back to what, 24.80-ish, somewhere in there. I would be watching that area, but that looks pretty darn good. Not only that, but if I was to draw it, it almost looks like a falling wedge, right? And then it broke out right there and just went up. And that's fine. Okay. Any other questions? Chart requests? I got a few more minutes here. Let's see. Oh, I saw some people mentioning XRP today. And to me, it looks like everything else, right? You got support here, support there. Could it bust a move? Possibly. I think it's still probably a few days out. I don't know that I'd be rushing to get into it just yet. Maybe let these come down a little bit more, because look what happens. Everybody always tries to do the fractal stuff and whatnot, but here's what it takes to get that move is that your moving averages are all bunched together, right? See that? 10, 20, 50. They're all lined up right in here. Well, we're not quite there yet. The 50's up here, 10, 20. It's not there just yet. And when you see big space in between those moving averages, it just means it's stronger support or stronger resistance. So, maybe give it another week and a half or so. Maybe two. Maybe, I don't know, early part of August. Of course, I could be wrong. This thing just goes way up here and hits that, but I'm just going off my experience. Let's see, what else is out there? ZEC, that was a big one for a while. This one's interesting. Nope. Not just, God, that's close. That's another one that there could be so many things that take off like in early to mid-August that's not even funny. Just eyeballing this. Let me look at some other stuff. Link is in a zone of its own, right? Look at this. It's just holding that old resistance, which is now a new support zone. Look at that. And then you get another one down below it. And the Bollinger Bands are getting tight. And it's just sitting there hanging right below the 10 and the 20 EMA. 50's right here. Oh my gosh. Oh, something's getting ready to happen with Link, guys. Something is getting ready to happen. And the guess, just based on trend, is that it makes a higher high. As long as this area holds. God, it just looks funky with that stochastic RSI, just kind of choppy trend lining. That's weird. There's some weird shit going on, guys. Funky looking stuff. So you could play the breakout, I guess. Let's see where I drew that. Yeah, I drew that one down there. It's close. Yeah, I'll leave it there. ADA was another one. I saw that one today. Looked like it was up pretty... Oh, yeah, there it was. Yeah, hitting the upper Bollinger Band. But it's above the 10 EMA, right? Look at that. It's above the 10 EMA. Got above the 20. Now, can it hold that? Let's see if it can hold it for the next couple of days. And if it does, then it's golden. So let's let this burn off a little bit. Or come down in here and then go up again. The stochastic RSI, let it come down and then take off. If that's what it wants to do. But if Bitcoin takes off, then this is probably coming down to retest the low. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, somebody mentioned, I think it was Ancient. Let's see here. BSV. And he said SV, and I didn't understand what it was, but it was BSV. So if he's in here, REN. Yeah, let me look at REN. BTC REN. There we go. Yeah, that's a pretty darn bullish chart right there. And I did this one a while back. Let me... Wow. It's been a while since I've had to update this one. Take that out and that out. Did it actually get to the 127.2? Hang on. Yeah, it broke above it. All right, so let's do this. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay. All right, let's see where we're at on retracements here. Oh, I hadn't even made it to the 23.6. Wow. 1272. There we go. And let's go to do this. So basically what I'm doing, I drew that retracement just to kind of see where things line up, right? So now I'm going to draw a horizontal ray. And let's just draw it from the body, right? Not the wick. And then let's change that to green. Okay. And I find it rather interesting, okay? and bear with me on this one. Do you not find it rather interesting? And this is just part of charting and drawing and seeing where things are. But you saw where I put the Fibonacci retracement from here to here. Okay? You got the 23.6 here. You got the 38.2 right here. And then when I went over and drew the horizontal ray from where old resistance was, is it not fascinating that it lines up at the 38.2 retracement if this thing drops, right? If it was to drop back down, obviously your first support is right here at the 23.6, which I've always said is kind of weak in my opinion. But down in here is probably your bigger support, right? So could you be buying somewhere in between that? Yeah, you could. But I would expect possibly, oh my gosh. And here's the other thing. Candlestick wise, you had this big green stick right here, right? So what's happening now is you're getting a retracement off that, but it's staying within the big green stick. So if you get another, and this is a guess, right? And we'll see how my predictive powers are. But I would almost suspect that this probably stays in a range a little bit and maybe even holds the 23.6 and does another, just stay within that big green candle, retrace a little bit, and then make another move up to here at 1500. And by that time, I would, obviously watch it there because it's probably going to be outside the Bollinger Band. But if it loses the 23.6, then your next support is your 10 EMA right here in blue. And that lines up with where the wick is, or close to, because tomorrow it's going to be up here. So, you could play the bounce off the 10, but just kind of watch and see if it does. But it's bullish. There's no doubt this chart is bullish, right? There's no doubt. All the EMAs are just in line. They're going up. It's a bullish chart. But the question is, how far will it retrace back? And if Bitcoin decides to take off, then this one probably comes down a little bit, right? Maybe down in here. I would be real tempted to buy it right here at 11, what is that? 1100-ish. There's a lot of suckers that got right in here, a lot of suckers. And that's what happens, right? You get price outside of the Bollinger Band, and I think I've preached about that before. Look what happens when price gets outside of the Bollinger Band. It pulls back in, just like back over here, right? Price outside, pulls back in. Price outside, pulls back in. Price way outside, pulls way back in. Price outside, wick inside, goes back outside. That's where it got whippy. Price outside the Bollinger Band, outside, and then now back in. So, is it going to do one of these? And pull back into here? Pretty strong possibility. So don't go crazy on it. But it's bullish. You want to pick your spot where you want to get in, right? Okay, so that's Ren. What else is out there? I think I saw Matic. Did Matic do something today? I thought when I was in there taking a poop today, I was looking at my chart thing on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, this is interesting. Let's get rid of that. That's gone. And let's get rid of that. And all right, so Matic. This is almost like DGB in a way. Look how tight these Bollinger Bands are. Right? This is one thing you have to watch. These Bollinger Bands are very, very tight. And the moving averages are getting real close to each other, right? So I would not be shocked one bit if Matic was to make a move, right? And when I mean a move, up to here. 158, and it could even possibly go higher, but I'm conservative, so I'm looking at this 50-day moving average, but it could pop up and hit the 50. Matic could actually make a move right up here and turn, and that if it gets past that and it tests it, then it's going to be bullish, right? And then it pulls back a little bit and then goes higher. So, I don't know what this company does. I have no clue. But not only that, but that could have been a falling wedge break. Let's do this. Let's throw that on there. Let's do this. Yeah, that looks kind of funky. Although some people may have gone here to there. There we go. Okay. Interesting. Right? And let's just do this. That's color. Oh, let's see here. I want to do... There we go. Let's change the thickness on it a little bit. You can still see that, right? And it's breaking above, or trying to. This one's interesting. And let me thicken it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you got this low right here. It held it. Trend line here. And it's trying to break it. Falling wedge. So, if it can break it, then what do we look at? Let's do this. From here down to that low. Okay. There you go. 23.6, 38.2, which is right about where the 50 EMA is. So if Matic can break this, It's going to go up and test 139, and then if it really breaks out, 157 is going to be resistance, which is an old area over here, ironically enough. So it's a possible 10% move. Very possible. Okay, guys. Last call. Questions? There's old Bitcoin just holding above 10. All right, guys. I'm going to, unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to cut out. But I will be back around for the weekend. All right, guys. Good luck, and we'll see you soon.